for the 2023A season finale here at Darlington Raceway, simulated on the iRacing platform for the FTSR guys in the Martin Sports Truck Series here, race 13 of 13. And we're going to bring this one to you under the lights. And as a NASCAR tradition, we're going to see a bunch of throwback skins out here, and it is up to us to bring you guys our votes to tell you who's going to be the best paint scheme tonight. And they're going to get a customized Martin Sports jersey because this is the Martin Sports Series, and what a fitting gift there to give them a customized shirt. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to announce that probably right after the interviews tonight for our three drivers and the champion if they do not happen to be in the podium. But either way, like I said, we're coming at you from Darlington. It's going to be a great race here tonight. Trucks are bad fast. Trucks look clean with the skins. So it should propose some excellent stuff for you guys to watch here tonight to close out this 2023 A season. Weather right there, as you see on your screen in the lower left-hand corner. 6-mile-an-hour winds, partly cloudy, 77 degrees in the skies. So a nice cool evening here at Darlington. My name is Jeremy Stanley, and to my right-hand side is going to be Jason Rockefeller to close this thing out. How are you, my guy?
I'm here, man. It's Darlington week finally. I can't wait to see these trucks on track here tonight. Obviously, this is the last race for Season A for the year here tonight at Darlington, and it's matching up to be a really close fight for the championship, Jeremy. Right now, looking at the point standings, even though Brody Hanna was able to close in a little bit of points on his teammate Richie Coy and friend over at Fury Motorsports last week with the win at Kansas, Richie Coy coming home in fourth. Brody was able to close in just a little bit, so now he's only 19 points back behind Richie Coy for this Season A title. But if Richie Coy wants to maintain his gap to his teammate and friend Brody Hanna here tonight, he's going to have a good run. He's going to have to keep it out of the wall. And we talked to him just after the Kansas race for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series on Monday night. He said, Darlington is such a tough track and whatnot. I mean, it is labeled as the Lady in Black, too tough to tame. And that's exactly what this is. It's one of the oldest tracks on the NASCAR Series schedule. One of the best tracks. It's a driver's race track. You either are good at it or you're not good at it. Kind of like Dover, but obviously this is way more of an abrasive surface, way difficult. The track is completely different in 1 and 2, and then completely different down in 3 and 4. This should be a really fun race here tonight, but the championship battle for the Season 8 title is going to be the one that we're going to be watching tonight, besides all these great-looking truck series schemes out here tonight.
Yeah, and to touch up on the points there, Fury Motorsports has won the last 4 Martin Sports Truck Series races, 2 of which come from Brody, and that was last week and then 2 weeks prior to that. Richie hasn't won in the past 4 weeks. Last one was at Martinsville 1 month ago. So, and Richie's not had the best of luck in comparison to his teammate Brody Hanna. So, I mean, if that continues to be a factor, then this point battle, that 19-point lead that Richie has, it might be really close. It might be a single-digit victory for either one of these guys coming out of this thing. So, Richie's got to step it up. He's got to be able to finish decent. He doesn't have to be in the top 10, right? He just needs to be close to his competitor just a little bit because he had the 19-point buffer. You don't want to have Brody win the stage and then Richie finish, outside the top 10, right? Because that's a 10-point swing alone. So you just kind of be in the mix, but don't have to be up in the front. So there's a little pressure off his back in that case. But, as Darlington knows, so there's a lot of mental miscues that could possibly happen. So you just got to be on your A game. Make sure your virtual racing team is, changing those tires just fine. And, it's going to be a good race for him.
Yeah, and it really should. And also, too, to mention the fact, too, is there's Dustin Logston right there, our producer. He's always hanging out like usual. He's going to be having a good time tonight. He's going to be having a lot to deal with probably between all the throwback schemes we're going to be looking at. Some guys not supporting throwback schemes. Cough, cough, Bobby Terrell. But anyways, all jokes aside, though, but we talked about the points gap and stuff like that. And also one thing to mention, you talked about Richie Coy's going to have to be on his A game tonight here, Jeremy. Don't mention the fact, too, that last week, Richie Coy does not want to hear how abysmal his Kansas race was until about those last 20 to 30 laps. He drove all the way from the back, I believe, if I'm correct. It's been a very long past week for me between finishing out the semester and work and whatnot. But he was about 2 laps down at one point and then somehow came back after being turned in the tri-oval across the infield grass. And he had some damage on that right side, but Richie was able to come back and fight his way and claw his way back up to the top 5 and finish in the 4th place spot, which probably, honestly, Jeremy, ultimately saved his enormous points gap over his teammate and friend Brody Hanna. So that gap could have been really narrow entering this week if it wasn't for that 4th place finish. So that is something to mention, that if Richie Coy has a week like he did last week at Kansas, Brody Hanna is going to be right there to push him to the side and take this title.
Yeah, for sure. And did you see who won practice and got 2nd place? It wouldn't happen to be the 23 of Hanna and the 19 of Richie Coy, would it?
Yeah, it was right there.
That's why Dustin's got the camera on the roof of the 23 of Brody Hanna, winning the final practice of this season. So let's see what he can do out here for qualifying. Dustin, what kind of shots are you gonna be bringing us here tonight?
I tell you what, I don't think there's going to be a bad shot anywhere. I mean, these guys are going to bring their A game. It's going to be an action-packed track. I mean, it's a lady in black. As a driver, I struggle at this track. I have never been able to woo this lady. She's definitely a tough one, plays hard to get. But these drivers here, I think, are going to be able to do it. But what I'm excited about is these trucks. I love Throwback Weekend. Jeremy, you've been painting for me for a long time. You know I love old school stuff, so I love throwback stuff. But it's going to be a good show no matter what we do.
Yeah, I try to throw you a bunch of spikes and a bunch of modern designs, and you're like, give me one big swoop across the door in 2 different colors, and I'm solid, right?
Right?
As he comes up here to take the first lap, ending on the lap number 2. Brody sits here, runs a 30.4, which is way further off than what his practice time was. I guess he was warming up the tires, which is very casual, very normal for these guys to run their fast lap on lap number 2. Darlington's just one of those tracks you have to have your tire pressures up to maximize your grip here. Brody opting to run the bottom here, 3 and 4. You see a lot of trucks run the bottom, I think, in 3 and 4 as to compare to 1 and 2. Coming to the line to complete his qualifying effort, Brody Hanna is going to jump up with a 29.2, currently sitting P5 on the charts here. Michael Blackner so far holds the pole.
Yeah, and that's really interesting to see because Michael Blackner, I mean, obviously he's been in the mix kind of, hasn't really, hasn't been a guy we haven't talked about a ton. Like some of these guys we keep mentioning, like Brody Hanna, Bobby Terrell, Richie Coy, etc. All these other guys right now. And I mean, in Brody Hanna, he was about 0.2 or more right there, I believe, or 1.5 slower than what his best practice lap was. So maybe that's the thing, though. Brody Hanna, we've seen it plenty of times, Jeremy. In fact, we saw it the other night at Kansas for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. He hit the wall, I believe Dustin said, in qualifying, ruined his lap, came all the way from the back, and was absolutely flying. And then, obviously, Richie Coy able to snap that victory away for his first win of the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series season for him. And, those two have been the class of the field in the FTSR all season long from what we've seen over here on Nerd TV. It's going to be a real interesting fight for the title here tonight, especially for the Martin Sports Truck Series. But he's a guy who he doesn't really need to qualify up in the front. He could start back of the pack. He could start mid-pack. It doesn't matter. Somehow, some way, Brody Hanna, and the way that his craft is, he is able to just drive up to the front with an enormous amount of speed and somehow, some way finds the lead. And heck, he goes out and wins one of these things.
It doesn't matter what track you put him at either. I mean, I've seen him do it at tough tracks like Darlington, per se, where guys are not, it's not like a normal average cookie cutter track. It's a very difficult track, right? So if a couple people don't know how to hit your marks here for a long part of the race, Brody likes to capitalize on that kind of thing. And you see him go 3 wide a couple times last week. He just knows what to do every single week. Sometimes he doesn't even qualify. So, it just goes to show how fast he can get that truck to go, and he can pass guys. Don't get me wrong; he's going to be up there for sure. I know Richie's really good here at Darlington. I know he's excited to be here. I think these two teammates alone are going to put on an awesome race. But Fury Motorsports has 4 wins in a row. Like I said, do you think someone has a chance out here? Like maybe Michael Blackner. I know he's on their team on the Cup side, but not the trucks. Do you think he has a spoiler opportunity for him tonight?
Possible. I mean, and also, too, not to mention the fact, too, Bobby Terrell, he was a winner at Dover just a handful of weeks ago as well. And I mean, and he's a guy who, from what I've seen, from everything that I've seen with him racing over here in the FTSR, he's a guy where he doesn't really need to have good runs in the beginning of races or the middle of races. Somehow, some way, he finds his way up towards the front. And this is a driver's track, like I had mentioned right before in pre-race. And he won at Dover. And he didn't just win at Dover. He practically dominated Dover. And here he is right now, second up on the board. I think Bobby Terrell, honestly, probably has one of the best chances to win here tonight. And also maybe Stephen Hollingsworth. Stephen is coming off of a 5th place run at Kansas from last week. So maybe Stephen Hollingsworth can do something. He'll start 10th tonight, but there's a lot of talent in this field here tonight. And these truckers are ready to get racing here tonight from the Lady in Black.
And they're taking the grid here on the front stretch. It is our time to wipe our faces off your screen and go over the starting order here for the 24 trucks that'll be starting the Darlington 200. Michael Blackner is going to start P1. Bobby Terrell is going to take second. Cody McKinney third. Ryan Chapman to his outside in fourth. Richie Cool, your point leader, is going to start in fifth. Lane Allen starts in sixth. Tommy Schaefer will be starting in 7th place tonight. TJ Bartell, 8th. Brody Hanna, the other guy in the points chase, will be there in 9th. And tonight's top 10 truck, Stephen Hollingsworth.
Top 20, you got Colton Gum in the number 88 machine. And then you have John Paul Burns right there in the 99. Tyler Brown in the 00. Sherwood Williford, always supporting his throwbacks every week in the 33 machine, starting 14th. 15th, Alan Duranco in the Haviline Ford F-150. 16th, Joey McKinney. 17th, Robert Malikian. 18th, Tony Solari. 19th, Justin Diltz. And then supporting the Mark Martin, Carl Everett's throwback right there in the 20th position, James Torrey.
21st, Shad Curran. 22nd, Steve Angie. 23rd, Brian Bliss and Maxwell Solsh in the 89. We'll round out tonight's 24 truck lineup for this Darlington 200. These skins out here, Jason, are so clean, so good. I know we had some of us had trouble loading up all the skins during practice, but coming to qualifying and out of the grid, we're able to see every single truck paint skin out here. I'm really loving the McKinneys running the throwback to the Cokes, the old-fashioned green and orange cars. Just an amazing skin right there to the upper half of your screen, the 27. Chapman running my old Rusty Wallace favorite Kodak skin there, but customized for the new sponsors that he's got. So you see right there on the right. But awesome drone work here by Dustin to fly over all the trucks. A little difficult task floating that free floating around this corner, but look how smooth he is, minus the wind throwing the drone around. That's a pretty smooth transition there.
Yeah, and it's always cool to see Darlington throwback schemes. I mean, no matter really where you go, even if it's the sim, you're going to see a lot this week for anybody who is a fellow iRacer on the sim racing service. You're going to see a lot of guys supporting a lot of throwback skins. It's just something about this place, and you think to yourself, well, why Darlington? I mean, there's so much history here, and you could really say that about a lot of tracks. You could say that about Bristol, about Martinsville, Daytona, Talladega. But there's just something about Darlington that makes it all the more special. And a lot of these trucks tonight are going to be getting that infamous Darlington stripe. So all these trucks that are clean right now here, Jeremy, they're not going to be so clean by the end of this one.
They didn't modernize the track, and that's why they're all the red and white striped walls. Everything just still looks nostalgic here, but green flag is out. Michael Blackner is going to take these guys to the green flag here. We're going to get 147 laps underway. Let's see how quickly these guys get thinned out here. It is Darlington. You want to take care of your tires. Don't overdrive it, or else, for me, the truck gets really tight usually, or really loose, one of the two. Super hard to handle. Keep it off the wall is nearly impossible for myself, but top 5, top 10 almost already all single filed out here. It's going to be very expected here for this opening stage, which is 40 laps. You got to see what your truck has, but don't overdo it. Get those fresh Goodyears, and remember, 4 tires complete, 4 sets. So if you overdrive the truck early on and have to change them early, during a couple cautions that we're probably going to see, might post some late race strategy here.
Yeah, and honestly, Jeremy, that's the thing. You're really going to have to just conserve your tires as much as possible here tonight at Darlington, especially in this first 40-lap run before we get to the end of the stage break. As Maxwell Solsh almost loses off the corner. He does up and into the wall, but he's able to save it there on the back straightaway from the headway shot, heading from 2 all the way down the back stretch to 3. He saves it, so he's already got himself a Darlington stripe on the right side of that car, or truck, I should say. But you're going to have to tire conserve as much as possible tonight. This probably, Jeremy, besides the old Atlanta Motor Speedway before the reconfiguration, this is the track by far on the NASCAR circuit that eats up tires the most. You're going to see times later on in this race where there's over probably about 3 seconds of tire fall off. Carson Hocevar was testing at North Wilkesboro just a handful of weeks ago and said there was about 3 seconds of fall off there. Mind the fact that is a very old and abrasive surface, similar to what Darlington is here. So you're going to see a lot of lap times falling off here later on in these runs. If I were these guys for this first 40 laps, keep it clean, keep the tires on it, don't hit the wall, learn how your truck drives, and save those tires as much as you can so you can learn for the later runs.
I don't know if Maxwell Solch got the Darlington stripe or a Darlington pound cake served to him. He hit that wall like a ton of bricks, so early on, trouble's there for that truck. He actually hit the apron transition. Oh, right there again. Another smash, this time to the inside wall. Really slow on the front stretch, but he is the last truck in the field, so there's no one behind him. So iRacing is going to keep it green flag, even though he's running slow. Still on the racing surface, so he might be able to get this thing up. Leaders are coming off a turn 4 now. Solskjaer's in the middle of 1 and 2. As long as he can get that speed up or get out of the way before these guys get to him, we should stay green. And it looks like he's going to be able to get to at least minimum speed here. But Solskjaer not having the night he was looking for to end this season.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, too, because Max was coming off a strong run, I believe, in one of the races here the last few weeks with about a top 15, top 12. He always usually struggles. Hopefully his craft can get a little bit better here within the next upcoming weeks and whatnot. I know Max is a very talented driver behind the wheel. He saved a lot of race cars. He's also kept it out of the garage most of the time. So, he's always on track just trying to have fun. But, it's Darlington, man. It just goes to show you how tough this track is. And you're going to see that later on in the races here. And, everybody's just getting squirrely. Look at right there. That's the 29 machine of Tommy Schaefer there with the Kevin Harvick 2001 GM Goodwrench service throwback right there with the Penske numbers. But really, it's kind of like a Bob Keselowski, BKR, RCR Harvick throwback. It's kind of a little bit of everything mixed all together, because I believe, if I'm correct, I think Tommy usually drives a number 29 truck that's similar to what Brad Keselowski's father Bob used to race back in the day, if I'm correct. I don't know. There's so many different paint schemes out here. It's so hard to keep track of, but regardless, all these guys have beautiful schemes, whether if you're running a throwback or not. Like, there's that 00 machine right behind Colton Gum. That's Tyler Brown. His truck always looks fantastic. I love the goldish brown yellow color with the white. Always pops out here.
That's a perfect dovetail for my question I've had to myself this whole time. The 29 skin there, white and red. Sherwood Williford, if we kick it over to that truck, that 33, does he consider a throwback? He's been running that same exact skin the 29's running, but he's been running it as that chrome finish. So they basically have identical skins, other than one has chrome and one has a glossy white finish. So does the 33 of Williford count toward a throwback?
Say so. I mean, why not? But he thinks that throwback weekend is every weekend over in the FTSR. He'll go from running that old 2001 Kevin Harvick Chevy. I believe it was the Chevy Rock and Roll 4. I have the diecast sitting right inside my glass cabinet. I want to say it was the Chevy Rock. Yep, it was the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond back in the day. That scheme is absolutely beautiful. A lot of guys ran the Looney Tunes cars mixed with the Chevrolet sponsorship. Jeff Gordon ran one. I believe Terry Labonte ran one. Jimmy Johnson. A bunch of other guys did. And then he also usually runs the old Dale Earnhardt Sr. Coca-Cola throwback. That's basically the same scheme, just with black on the trim with a little bit of white, with the red usually replacing what is the iconic black number 3 base paint scheme. So I guess every week, Jeremy, is throwback week for Sherwood Williford. He doesn't care. I guess every week is Darlington throwback week in his eyes.
You're seeing a couple more on your your screen right now too. The 28 of Kenny and 27 of Chapman. I had 3 picks for you guys before we went to qualifying, or before we went live, really, and I've kind of changed my mind a little bit. Dustin threw the camera there on Shad Curran, the 66, that Ray Bestos throwback. He's now in my top 3, I think, personally. I'm loving the McKennies. I'm loving this one. Of course, I love a good Rusty Wallace and Carl Edwards throwback as well. There's just so many good skins to choose from. And we're going to be deciding this thing about halfway and then announcing it during the ending of this broadcast tonight. So there's a lot of work for us to do. That's why we keep cycling through these skins and talking about them. There's just so many good ones out here, and we really got to get our votes together. So if you hear us talking about it, I mean, these teams put a lot of work talking to their painters that they have for the team to get this set up for a one-off event. So we're just kind of showcasing what kind of teamwork they're doing behind the scenes to do a one-off event for you guys tonight.
Yeah, and and that's the awesome thing too. You talk about everybody having opportunities to paint all these trucks. Now that is a truck I absolutely love. Joey McKinney's number 18. You also talked about, also the other McKinney, Cody. He's running that Tony Stewart Coca-Cola throwback car as well. And then, you have Joey who's running that Bobby Labonte, number 18 Coca-Cola throwback. I believe that thing actually ended up on its lid at the end of the EA Sports 500 at Talladega back in 2001, if I'm correct, out of turn 2. Bobby Labonte threw a late block, went upside down. Dale Jr. made the last lap move on Tony Stewart to win that race. Ultimately, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s first of 6 Talladega victories. I believe it was 6. So obviously these guys showing up. I want to say if I had to choose 3, man, I don't know what it is. I really like that number 29 of Tommy Schaefer. I love the old Harvick throwback, but he's also got those Penske Keselowski numbers on it. I also really, really love the 18 of Joey McKinney. I just think it looks way better. And I also really like Richie Coy's throwback to Carl Edwards back when he drove the 99 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. That truck is absolutely beautiful. So if I had to choose 3, I'd say that's probably my top 3 at the moment.
There's not really a bad pick in there, too. There's quite a few other honorable mentions, like the one TJ Bartell running a Benson throwback to about, 10-ish years ago, I would say. I know you're the guy that holds all the stats, so maybe you can fact check me on that one. But I'm just going to kick it back to the race real quick. The battle for the lead's been pretty all right since we've been talking about these guys in their paint skins. 28 and 27, that's Cody McKinney and Ryan Chapman, separated by less than a second. I think Ryan Chapman's got a little bit strong of a long run, but Michael Blackner, he was your pole sitter, right? He was doing so strong, and he brought out such a strong lead. I think he scrubbed his tires off, and actually, well, here you go. I did not catch that there, but there was a little wall tag, a little Darlington stripe there for the 22, and slowed him up. And I think that really tightened up his truck. The aerodynamics on the right-hand side of these things are super important here. And at that point, when you push in the right side fenders, you lose every ounce of downforce possible to get around this corner. And now he's dropped all the way back to 8th place, only 19 laps in.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. You just want to try to keep it out of the wall. You want to kind of get a little bit lower, drift up high to the outside of the wall in the center of 1 and 2. As you see, one truck actually behind the 14 of Lane Allen. That was Colton Gum. He just barely grazed the wall off turn number 2 there. But that's the thing. You want to get it in a little bit lower. Oh, and the 22's in the wall again there through the center of 3 and 4. And here comes Lane Allen to the inside of the racetrack. He's going to take that position away, open up the door for Colton Gum, who might take it down into 1. He'll head down to the inside, kind of get on the apron a little bit, but he comes back up, not able to make that pass right there as they work their way off 2. Like I said, you want to get into the corner off 1 or into 1 a little hard, kind of drift up to the wall in the center of the corner, then kind of like diamond the corner off your exit off 2 so you can have drive off. And then 3 and 4, you're really just fending for dear life because you're just trying to maintain that throttle and get back to it as easy as possible off the corner. Make sure your truck doesn't slide up into the wall, get tight, get loose, whatever it may be, because this track is just so hard. And like we say, and hence the name, Too Tough to Tame. I mean, it's just so hard to handle these trucks here. I myself am one who's also not that good at Darlington. I love driving this place, though. It's so fun to drive, especially off 2. I personally really enjoyed the Xfinity Series cars running here on a fixed setup. They're just so fun to drive. A lot of other things I haven't really had the chance to test as well. I also really like the old Gen 6 cars as well. But regardless, it's always going to be a hard time to drive here at Darlington.
Couple mentions here. 3 drivers have backed out. Brian Bliss, and then the only 2 drivers tonight for Pudgy's Pizza Racing, Steve Angie and Maxwell Solsch, both have too much damage on their trucks, decided to retire the event early, so it's going to bring us 21 drivers left in this field. Only 23 laps into this event, so plenty of time here. 17 laps to go at the line before we're going to see our only stage break and potentially our first caution, which actually, I don't know if I'm too surprised by that. I've seen a lot of trucks, like see the 29 back there causing some smoke off the outside of turn 2. Looks like he gets himself a Darlington stripe here. A little bit of scrape damage there, but it's only paint, it looks like. Hopefully he doesn't get that truck too tight, as I mentioned about 5 laps ago. You want to keep that fender pushed out as best as possible. Hopefully that team can work on a little bit more smoke coming off the wall here. So the 29 is Schaefer having some handling issues here.
Yeah, and he just came almost right down into the path of TJ Bartell and that number 1 machine right there off turn number 4. That could have been a huge moment right there because he was bouncing off the wall, tried to save it right there, almost came right into the path of TJ Bartell. You've seen other drivers hit the wall as well. Tyler Brown just hitting the wall. You're going to see a lot more guys hitting the wall right there. There's another driver almost hitting the wall. Everybody is getting super tight or getting super loose because of lack of grip. I mean, we just talked about beforehand, Michael Blackner losing the lead to Cody McKinney, that Tony Stewart Coca-Cola Home Depot throwback. He went from first all the way down to 8th, and he is still struggling. Now 9th, almost falling back to 10th. Everybody, Jeremy, is struggling on grip. These tires are screaming like they're in a pit in hell. They want to be changed out so desperately here, and I guarantee these drivers cannot wait to get a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles here when this stage does end.
Yeah, you got to use. We've seen how the stages work. This is the first year that FTSR has ran stage racing in their league, right? So we had no idea coming into the season what to expect as far as how the driver is going to approach stage racing. Do you use it as a 40-lap quick stint to just figure out exactly how hard you can push the vehicle, no matter if it's the Cup Series or the Truck Series, and then use that data to work on the setup for the long run on stage 2? Or do you just kind of hang tight and see what everybody else does and drop back or whatever the case is? And a lot of these guys early on look like, to me, at Darlington, they are pushing the truck to their limits to figure out what they're going to do. That's probably why we're seeing excess trucks getting loose early on, not even 30 laps in. I know tire wear is huge here, but I'm seeing a lot of different drivers that usually don't have issues having a lot of handling issues tonight early on. So I feel like they're just kind of pushing the trucks to the limit, seeing what they can and cannot do, and it should provide a great second half of this race.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing too, Jeremy. You talk about the stage racing and stuff like that. Obviously, these guys only have their 1 stage caution. They don't run 3 or 4 stages like they do in NASCAR, and then their 4th stage, which would be the length of the Coca-Cola 600 usually. They only run that 1 stage, and usually it's only about not even halfway through the races when they usually throw it. It's a little bit to about a quarter to a little bit over a quarter of a way through their races here in the FTSR division. So, I mean, you either could really run these stages either one of 2 ways. One being you go super hard and learn how your car drives if you ever, or truck or car, whatever it may be, between the 2 series really, that, you know, you kind of figure out if you know how to push it hard, what it's going to do, if you burn it up too quickly, and what it's going to do when you have the speed in the truck in the beginning of the runs. Or you could run it very conservatively like tonight. This track obviously eats up tires. We are already over almost 2 seconds of fall off since we started, and that was 30 laps ago. The best lap right now for the leader was a 29.52 by Cody McKinney. That last time around, he ran a 31.29. So it just goes to show you how much tire fall off is on the racetrack here tonight because of this abrasive surface, and this is how it's going to be all week in every single form of whatever you're racing here on iRacing at the virtual Lady in Black, and also this weekend here for Throwback Weekend for the top 3 national series in NASCAR. So, I mean, these stages are really just a learning curve and not really so much strategy when it comes to the FTSR.
You see the 28 there, Cody McKinney putting the first truck actively on the track, a 1 lap down here. Everybody else that's a lap down on the charts is virtue to them parking their machines. The 28 in McKinney has a 3.5 second lead over second place now, the number 4 truck of Bobby Terrell. And he's about to pass a lot more trucks right now. There's a few trucks in the 20-second bracket behind the leader. So 10 seconds or less behind from or in front of the leader to do so. And I'm sure there are a lot of guys out there happy that there's a stage break this year, knowing that if this was to go green all the way around, which FTSR typically doesn't produce a lot of caution, so this is a great time to get your stuff set up. So hopefully you have the time on the track. It's tough to drive this track by yourself, let alone try to mentally try to change your setup on the fly. So I'm really hoping a lot of these guys get together. And I like the 28 and 18. I like to use them as an example. 18 of Joseph McKinney. He's one of those guys that are about to go a lap down. He's 21 seconds behind his teammate, the race leader, Cody McKinney. They share setups. So, what's the difference there? They got to figure that out, get the 18 up and running to get McKinney racing, both trucks maybe inside the top 10.
Yeah, and everybody really is just running all over the place here right now, Jeremy, and everybody's just kind of trying to learn out their trucks right now. I mean, and we're already approaching the end of this stage, and Tyler Brown has made significant contact with the outside wall. That truck is struggling to drive right now, and he's being approached by other drivers behind him. That's Shad Curran there in the 66 machine, Joey McKinney, Justin Diltz, James Torrey, all behind him. That truck has pancaked the outside wall at some point here. That truck's got a lot of right front damage. It's got a lot of right side door damage, and it's got a lot of right rear quarter panel damage. That is going to hurt Tyler Brown big time because that right front is key, and so is that right rear off too. I mean, yeah, you could just see here as we're looking at the drone cam right against the safer barrier. The hood's up a little bit. You see all the paint scraped off there. The fender is rubbing into the tire, but obviously with iRacing, that's not going to cause a puncture and whatnot. It's really just going to create a severe amount of drag on this truck here tonight. So Tyler Brown is really hoping and pleading that he can survive for the next handful of laps before this stage caution does come out.
Yeah, he just got wicked loose off of turn 2 as well. It just looks like for him that corner entrance and center, it just plows like a dump truck, right? And then he gets on corner exit where the truck gets freed up, and that's where you get loose. So that's like, for me, that's one of my worst case situations as a driver is be loose in. So that means you can't attack the corner. Be loose on center. That means you can't set up the exit. And then when you get to exit, you don't have any throttle. So it's a tough spot, but I'm glad in about 5 laps he's going to be able to get that truck fixed. Hopefully the team can pull out what they can on that fender. He's going to need every single bit of it to make this long run even comfortable to run an additional 100 laps in that thing. But a lot of these guys on the track already have similar damage, though. So it's not like he's the only one. He gets loose once again, but we're focus on the 28th there. Cody McKinney, he's at just about 3 laps to go before we see the stage caution.
Yeah, and he's been doing a great job these last handful of laps. Wasn't the fast on the racetrack that last time around. Bobby Terrell was actually about 0.03 of a second quicker than him. But he is already out to a 4.5 second gap. Cody McKinney's been doing a great job ever since he took the lead away from the 22 of Michael Blackner, who was hitting the wall in 3 and 4, bounced off of it. Now he's all the way back down to 12, and he is severely off the pace. So Michael Blackner hoping to get a caution here pretty soon, obviously, due to the end of the stage. So he is struggling in that number 22 Red Bull F-150 there. But Cody McKinney doing a great job in that Tony Stewart Coca-Cola Home Depot throwback. Cody McKinney's definitely going to be one to reckon with here tonight at the finish of this race because he is continuing to pull his gap on Bobby Terrell.
1.5 laps, and we will see that stage caution there. And Bobby Terrell right now on your screen, now down to 4.5 seconds back, almost 5 at the line that time in comparison to your race leader. Cody definitely has a smile on his face coming to this stage caution, knowing what kind of truck he has, and he's coming through 3 and 4 for the final time on a green flag situation. He sees a teammate. He's right there. He's not going to get to him. He's not going to lap him down, but there's a lot of damage on that 18. The 28, I don't think has a scratch on that thing just yet. Comes to the line, so the 18 secured on the lead lap there. And when we come to see pit stops, we're going to see a lot of trucks take all the time imaginable to get these things repaired because you want to get every single ounce of that damage taken care of to be comfortable for this additional 100 plus laps here. As the caution does officially fly for the Roasted Gems caution. Probably, I'm surprised. This might be one of the very few, if not the only one we see tonight. Broadcaster's curse. Hopefully, it's not in the air there. I'm just going to clear that out now so it doesn't happen. But as these guys are going to wind down, head down pit road, it is our time to bring it to our first picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back with you guys here after a few messages.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And back at you at full screen here as we got just over a half a lap left before we're going to start stage 2, which we're going to be restarting on lap 46. 147 laps in total, so just over 100 to round this thing out here. Cody McKinney's still going to resume as your race leader. Number 4, Bobby Trell, going to resume in second. These guys basically right where they left off as far as where they started. Started third and second, now going to be starting first and second. So a very familiar spot here. Let's see if the 4 had made some adjustments for the long run. Looks like Fury Motorsports does not have that long run speed at all for these guys, especially Cody McKinney. Let's see what they can do there. Pace car is down. We're going to see who gets to jump into turn 1. I think it's going to be a very familiar start. You're going to see a lot of guys go single file early on, maybe shuffle a couple positions and then call it quits here. The 18, though, I mentioned him, Mr. Joseph McKinney. He's kind of merged into that field, fourth truck on the inside there. Let's see how he holds up in that spot, as he's supposed to be one lap down in the tail end, but for some reason he's starting midfield, so that might cause a mix-up here inside the top 10. Top 4, top 5, all go single file out of turn 2, and the 18 gets really loose and dips it down to get out of the way, knowing he's one lap down. I'm surprised iRacing officials allowed him to stay up there, but we stay green. Single file now, basically through the complete top 10, Jason, as we come off to turn 4 to start lap number 2.
Yeah, a few battles going on throughout the race right now currently since the drop of the restart green flag here. As you look at the 88 of Colton Gum, currently in front of JP Burns there, the 99, also Lane Allen. And then there's Tony Solari, mentioned over in the commercial break, driving that Mario Andretti throwback there. That is an absolutely beautiful scheme. Finally glad that we're finally really getting to see it there. I mean, everything from the number font to the sponsor placement to the red rims, everything about that truck is so nice. It's just a beautiful, beautiful scheme. Obviously, Mario Andretti, one of the very few open wheel guys to do the unthinkable in NASCAR by winning the Daytona 500 years and years ago. So obviously loving that scheme. It's kind of really hard to not play favor and really, really like that scheme that Solari is paying tribute to, one of the GOATs of motorsports here tonight.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Good shout out for that skin. We haven't really seen that on camera much at all, so I'm glad we were able to get a live look at it. Pretty clean overall, other than a couple of Darlington stripes there on the right front side of that truck, but we're just kind of cycling the camera through the field here. Bobby Terrell actually put a decent amount of pressure on Cody McKinney early on in this opening of stage 2 here. We're only 4 laps into this stage, and kind of hanging tight here. The long run, we'll definitely have to see where that plays out. And then Richie Coy riding on board right now on his roof camera, going through turns 1 and 2 right behind his teammate Bobby Terrell. Again, Bobby new to the Fury Motorsports team in 2023. So I'm sure they did a lot of discussing amongst themselves about how to get their truck better to compete with this 28, because he's just bad fast right now.
Yeah, the 28 is really, really quick right now. I mean, but that last time around, though, Bobby Terrell and Richie Coy were both faster than Cody McKinney the last time around. This time by, we're going to take a look at the lap times. And that time by, Cody McKinney, 29.75. Bobby Terrell ran a .83. Coy ran a .72. So Coy out of the top 3 was the fastest on out of the top 3 right there. Second was McKinney. Third was Terrell right there. So Richie Coy in that Carl Edwards throwback to when he ran in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, trying to get around Bobby Terrell right now. He's like in the bottom side. Terrell says, nah, I'm going to rip the top side off turn number 4. And then they have a huge gap to the 4th place driver, Ryan Chapman, and that number 27, Rusty Wallace throwback, along with TJ Bartell driving the 2008 Johnny Benson throwback. And obviously then behind them is the infamous Haviline paint scheme. Take it as you want. It's Dale Jarrett. It's Ernie Irvin, I believe. And also, don't forget Davey Allison, one of the greatest. Rest in peace, Davey Allison. So, yeah, Kenny Irwin. A lot of other guys who ran that truck. A lot of good schemes out here tonight. But those top 3 are very, very stout right now. And Cody McKinney still showing the way, trying to defend his lead from Bobby Terrell and Richie Coy.
It looks like Cody's already starting that mid-run push here. And he gained a 10th or so last lap on Terrell. And I know Terrell's also watching his mirror as the 19 of Richie Coy. He loves running the bottom, right? And so he's going to run the bottom strong. And then Bobby has to question whether if he's going to make it to his quarter panel or not, to see how comfortable he can come off the turn 4 and turn 2. But Richie's just, he's so confident in the bottom each and every week. A lot of the guys like to run to the top, like at Kansas last week, like Darlington this week. And you're going to see the 19 run lower than almost anybody else on average this entire event here. So that makes Bobby question himself a little bit on corner exit. He has to hit his marks on the top great, so he doesn't have to go side by side, which if you go side by side here, you're going to lose so much time on the guy you're trying to chase down, which is Cody McKinney here. So either 19's going to have to make a quick pass and say, hey, let me take the realm here and try to run down the 28, or I'm going to give you the space and let you try to do it.
The thing about Darlington, Jeremy, you got to really have a give and take type mindset. You can't just take every single corner. It is very, very hard to pass here at Darlington. 3 and 4, tough. 1 and 2, even tougher because you're carrying so much more speed than you are in 3 and 4. So Richie Coy really struggling right now to get around the 4 of Bobby Terrell. I know for a fact that the Haskell, New Jersey native wants to get around that 4, but he just can't do it just yet. I think if he gets a good run, enough off turn 4, off 2 right here, like you're seeing most guys dive down to the bottom, I think Coy can get to Terrell's bumper and try to make a pass.
As you run them down, we got a pretty good race heating up here with Ryan Chapman, Alan Duranko, and Brody Hanna. That's for 5th, 6th, and 7th place. Coming to 3 and 4 here. Looks like Brody Hanna was trying to get around Alan Duranko through 1 and 2, could not make the pass happen. That outside launch is just so good at Darlington. It is really tough to make the truck or car stick down there, make that pass without them having some type of error. You have to put a lot of work into it. So Brody definitely has a faster truck here, but it's causing a really good battle here for just outside the top 5.
It's a good battle, but I tell you what, Brody Hanna wants to get out of that battle. He wants to be +2 ahead of those guys and try to make up the most ground, the most points he can on his teammate and friend over at Fury Motorsports, Richie Coy, because Richie extended his points gap by just a few points from that first stage by getting to the stage break with a few more positions over Brody Hanna, obviously. So that McDonald's number 23 F-150 has really got to, go chugging along here at Darlington, as we're seeing a battle for position here. The 2, Duranko tried to go to the inside right there of Chapman entering 3. Didn't have the momentum, kind of loses it a little bit off the corner, gets loose, and that's going to open up the door for Brody Hanna. Is he going to be able to take the position away? No, he will not. They're still single file as they enter into turns 1 and 2, with Duranko ripping the top and the 23 joining him as well as they work their way off 2.
You almost have to give him the Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson treatment from Kansas, to where you have to get right up on that bumper, right up to the inside quarter panel, take the air off the spoiler, get the truck upset, and you can make that pass happen without actually touching them. So just because this track's so tough to pass at, you're going to have to put yourself in a questionable position sometimes to make that pass happen. And right now we've seen 2 pass attempts in the past 5 laps amongst these 3 drivers alone. And as soon as they make that pass effort, it is quickly gone. The outside truck just pulls away. The 23 gets loose, and right behind him as well, Colton Gum in the 88 also gets loose. So maybe you're starting to see some handling issues coming to the play here in this stage 2.
Yeah, and they're definitely coming into play here. And obviously, we were just a little bit towards 20 laps since we pitted here back on lap 42. So obviously, this time it'll be 20 laps since they pitted. So handling is definitely starting to come into effect here, Jeremy. Some of these guys, maybe they have, maybe they haven't made the best adjustments to their trucks. Maybe they're banking on another caution to try to help out. But obviously they're going to have to pit for sure for tires at least 2 more times. You talk about having 4 sets, so that's already minus 1 set taken away. And if I'm correct, I believe that would mean that they have 2 sets left, if I believe so. So obviously everybody right now just trying to be very, very conservative with their tires, like we talked about earlier, but also they're just trying to make sure that they can keep it out of the wall and prevent themselves from getting a stripe here at the Lady in Black.
Yeah, I think it's either 2 or 3. I'll get confirmation on that. Either way, I think it's going to be okay if they remain green this entire time. They're going to pit. I know we're going to pit at least 1 more time, maybe even 2, depending on how bad the tire situation really is. Because you can give up and doing a second pit stop, like an F1 strategy, and make the ground up. Because you mentioned it during stage 1, there was over a 2-second fall off. And see the 11 of Solari hit the outside wall of turn 2, give him his second Darlington stripe of this evening. But if you do the 2-stop strategy and you eliminate that 2-second fall off, which the pit stop alone, you lose about lap worth advantage, but over the course of 30, 40 laps, and you're running a second half, 2 seconds faster on average, you make up that ground and then some. So, 27 Ryan Chapman, I just noticed him. He slaps the outside wall pretty darn good there, running in 5th place. Gonna crumple on that really nice skid there of Rusty Wallace's throwback. So, I'm starting to see it almost every single lap, Jason. Someone's hitting this wall at this point.
Yeah, and we just talked about right beforehand, a handful of laps ago, about now 25 laps since these guys have pit, handling started becoming an issue. Now, compared to most tracks where you're going to start to see a lot of tire wear about 15 to 20 laps into a run, You really, honestly, Jeremy, start seeing it here at Darlington about 5 to 10 laps into a run. That's just how abrasive this surface is. As Larry Mack likes to say, get out my cheese grater. Let me just show you what it does to these Goodyear rubber tires right here. And that's exactly what it's like. It's like taking a cheese grater to the tires. I talked about earlier, too, the old Atlanta Motor Speedway, a track surface that wasn't paved for years and years and years. The same thing goes for Darlington. Obviously, this configuration of Darlington with the iRacing scan doesn't have the new patch asphalt that's off turn number 2 like they have now, which obviously has become a big factor at most of the Darlington races, especially off turn number 2, right where that patch is. But this is still the very old Darlington surface from when they last updated and scanned this racetrack here. But yeah, handling definitely coming into play here as we see Robert Malikian look to the inside of the racetrack on JP Burns and the number 99 machine to his outside.
Larry Mack reference reminds me of, John Madden there in the NFL days, just making it as most obvious as possible for you guys. And the 27 Chapman, super good amount of wall glue there. Yeah, hit the wall early in turn 3, and it's going to slow him up, allows the 2, the 23, and now the 16, that being Robert Malikian, gets around him. So 3 trucks past Ryan Chapman. And I see Diane Chapman in the chat saying, go, Ryan, go. She came in as soon as we caught him the first time he got the wall glue. Now he's in there for the second time. So maybe he can get that thing reversed and get himself back into the top 5. But we're going to go picture-in-picture mode. We're going to go to commercial break. We'll be back with you guys. Oh, actually, we're going to kick it to a Nerd TV replay. I apologize. We're going to watch it, the 27 get that wall glue one more time. And you just see, he only hit it for the center part of the corner.
Ooh.
He got so much speed scrub because of the tight radius around these corners.
Real quick, we got to look at that 23 on board just for a second. I mean, Brody Hanna was probably mere inches, possibly feet, from rear-ending the 27 machine right in the left rear quarter panel. So we'll have to take a look at the replay from Brody's perspective there, because that could have been the end to a championship run. Here we go, 3 and 4, 27, wall glue. You talked about it. That's your catchphrase, wall glue. Look at this right there. Not as close as I thought, but still, that could have been a huge moment. The 27 could have bounced off of it even more there, Jeremy. Could have came down the racetrack more. And then Brody Hanna, who knows, could have ran into the back of him, could have slowed up, could have hit on the brakes, could have got loose, could have hit the wall. There's so many factors that could happen here. I would not be surprised you see JP Burns loose behind him if we do, in fact, get a caution here pretty soon with just the amount of tire wear we're having and the way that handling is going away.
Yeah, now this time we're going to bring it to picture-in-picture mode. We'll be back with you guys after a few messages. All right, 27 or 18.
I really like the 27. I really like the 18. I really like Tony Solari, though, too. I didn't even really think about him until I said it. Hey, man. At the end of the day, it's y'all's decision, really. I only have to. No, I know. I'm just saying that. I mean, I'm cool to go with whatever you guys want. I just really like Tony's car. I think it looks really fucking sick. But so are we gonna announce it right here, or are we going to do it at the end? Also, for the end of the broadcast, when we start doing interviews, Jeremy, if you want to just do the interviews and stuff, just speed it up a little bit, because obviously I'm gonna have to do the broadcast at 11:15 for LSR. So just to speed it up a little bit, you could just do the interview. I'll still be here. I just won't interview.
Are you trying to eat?
Yeah, pretty much. But also, depending on how long this race goes, I might be really close on time. Just because it's like, obviously, I mean, we're already the lap 73, but it depends. Like I said, I mean, this could turn into a caution fest. It's just going at a slow rate, so I don't really know, but we'll see. But yeah, probably to eat, since I haven't eaten. I came right from work and then came home and played games for like a little bit. And I didn't really get a chance to eat, so.
This race will probably be ending at 11, broadcast probably 11:20, 11:30, so yeah. Dust, just take his camera off during the post-race, so he can eat, yada yada. That'd be cool. And then, of course, if Richie does not finish in the top 3, we will have 4 interviews. And if he does, well, then we get the luxury of just Well, we'll move Richie last regardless if he's in the top 3. So if he finishes 3rd, he'll be our last interview. And can you replay the Martin Sports victory scene twice? I would think he deserves it. Okay. Cody McKinney's probably gonna get this one, but we can give it to Richie as well.
Yeah. You don't have to take off my camera during post race, but like I said, I mean, if like push comes to shove, like like if it's like 11 o'clock, I gotta go. So then yeah, Dustin, you could see.
And welcome back to full screen coverage here outside of picture-in-picture mode. You got a little behind the scenes audio here of what we talk about during our commercial breaks here, but the race still going pretty all right. Cody McKinney, 4.5 second lead, doing the same exact thing he did on stage 1. The race between Richie Coy and TJ Bartel is really good right now. As TJ Bartel just goes around Richie. Richie says that he's the faster driver, lets him go by. So that number 1 to Bartel, up 7 spots from 8th to 2nd. Well, I guess 6 in that math there, but great run here from the number 1. Did not expect that considering stage 1 and how it went for him. So TJ Bartel making some gains.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is driving Johnny Benson's truck scheme, which obviously Johnny Benson, for everybody or anybody who doesn't know, Johnny Benson was arguably the greatest drivers to ever race in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, with others alongside like Ron Hornaday Jr. You also had Carl Edwards back in the day, Mark Martin, Mike Skinner, Todd Bodine, a bunch of other guys, Kyle Busch, Johnny Benson. If it wasn't those guys, it was Johnny Benson, man. He was always very fast. And sure enough, that one machine here tonight, that Johnny Benson throwback, is flying currently. A little bit faster than Cody McKinney. That time around 0.41 for McKinney. That time by for Bartel, 0.32. So faster by almost 1/10 of a second. And also just want to point out too, obviously he wasn't that fast the last lap, so maybe something happened to him. But also Robert Malikian, heartbreaker for him on Monday at Kansas in the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Had the lead coming to the white flag, got into the wall there, coming into turn 3, handed the win to Richie Coy practically. And Robert is doing a very good job. He is very, very hungry, especially after Monday night. He's already up 11 spots from where he started. He's the biggest mover in the field right now, but he's been flying these last handful of laps. He is faster than some of the guys inside that top 5, and he is currently right on the back bumper of that Havoline number 2 Ford F-150. And obviously, Robert, one of the very few guys to be running a Toyota out here for the Toyota Tundra TRD machine. That truck is on rails right now, and I think sooner or later, Jeremy, he's going to be passing Alan Duranco for the 5th place spot inside the top 5.
Speaking of guys maybe potentially making a pass here, if you've been watching the lap times, TJ Bartel, half a second faster the past 2 laps in total over Cody McKinney. So this number 1 has a late run truck here that we did not see in stage 1. And these guys probably going to extend out an extra 20, 30 laps before they may come down pit road here, as the 1 gets right up to that outside wall. Actually, almost looks like he taps the brake, dips it down, and straightens out the truck before corner exit, which gives him excellent straightaway speed, really playing dividends to that number 1 Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, and he's been doing a great job. It's already almost down to 3.5 seconds of a gap between him and McKinney right now. That last time around, a whole 1/10 of a second faster than Cody McKinney. So TJ Bartel, very, very fast right now, Jeremy. I want to say, you talked about these guys dipping out soon. Maybe some are going to be pitting later. I want to say there is no way that these guys probably go past lap 100, or that's when you're going to start to see guys pit, because obviously they pitted last on lap 42. So we've already gone more than 40 laps since they last pitted. This is usually the time where the tires are really pretty much worn out. This was obviously the length of what the first stage and only stage was. So now they are past that limit. They've gone a longer distance than what that opening stage was for 40 laps to complete. And obviously Cody McKinney won that stage. So now these guys are really going to start to see how their trucks handle on the more than regular long run than what they're known for. As you're seeing Robert Malicki in there, and the 16 gets loose off 4, saves it, but he did make the pass on Alan Duranko a handful of laps ago. He's now inside the top 5. Everybody's trucks, Jeremy, starting to play dividends here, and we're starting to learn and put aside the men from the boys here, like Robert Malicki and TJ Bartel. They're flying through the field right now.
Yeah, they're still running excellent lap times in comparison to almost everybody else out there on the field. TJ Bartel, super surprising how well he's able to maintain that tire healthiness as he just gains another 2 to 3/10 that lap again, even when he's right behind a couple of lap trucks here. So TJ Bartel, before these guys make their green flag pit stop, if it goes green, he's going to be really close, which I didn't think, if you were to listen to the audio from our commercial break, I was talking about how Cody McKinney's got this essentially, but I might take my word back here. TJ Bartel has something for Cody, depending on if it goes green the rest of the way.
That last time around, the one truck was actually a little bit slower. That probably was because of the lap traffic in front of him. He's actually slower than him by almost 0.3 of a second. But Cody McKinney, look at what it's in front of him. Nothing at all. He's got clean racetrack. That is everything you can want as a driver, especially at a racetrack like Darlington. It is so difficult, and I cannot explain for the people at home watching and the people who haven't really had to deal with any type of lap traffic here at Dover, who have never raced, or not Dover, at Darlington. I'm still stuck in the Dover mindset, folks, so forgive me on that one. I want to be back at the racetrack. But, I mean, when you're trying to pass lap traffic here at Darlington, it is so difficult. Nobody wants to give way as you ride on board from the helmet cam. Oh, and the 91's up into the wall. TJ Bartel does such a great job at avoiding the 91 of Justin Dilt. That could have been huge right there for the one machine, and he just lost a significant amount of time that last time by. It has now gone up a second for a gap between McKinney and Bartel. That last time around, McKinney faster than Bartel by more than 0.4 of a second almost right there. Man, oh man, this is really starting to get good right now. And also these guys up ahead in the lap car bracket or whatever you want to call it, they're really trying to struggle, or not trying to struggle, they're trying to stay away from these leaders here that are working around this racetrack.
Yeah, you mentioned that 20 had nothing in front of him, and that is playing huge up a whole second since we mentioned it just a few laps ago. So TJ has to get around these guys, and he's been stuck behind the 6 now for about 4 laps at this point, and he's not been able to progress. So I don't know if going around, some of these lappers have scrubbed that excess speed that he saved on those 4 good years that he's currently carrying with him around this 1.36 mile track. But it is showing exactly how much of a rhythm track. I don't know if we talked about the rhythm side of this track, but the fact that you have to hit your marks perfectly every single time to optimize your lap time. You can't like Kansas last week. If you slide up to another lane, you have lane assist. You just pick up the banking and you carry the speed off and you're fine. When it comes to Darlington, if you miss your mark, you have to really lift for that wall. As you see Justin Deltz again hitting the wall there off of turn 4. Or actually that's turn 4 there. So it looks like the 4 Bobby Trail's going to go around him. The 91, I don't think he's, the whole right side's just cleaned off that thing. It's got scrapes all the way around that thing. So, of course, he doesn't have the downforce that he needs. He lets the 66 Shad Curran go around, and he can't come to pit road any sooner.
Yeah, he definitely can't come to pit road any sooner there. That number 91 machine is absolutely destroyed. But then again, a lot of trucks out here are heavily damaged, especially trucks like, for example, I know Tyler Brown, 22 laps down. I don't even know if he's still out on the racetrack right now. It looks like, I believe he might be, but he's 22 laps down. I don't believe so. James Torrey's the first truck 1 lap down right now in that number 6 machine, throwing it back to Mark Martin's Scott's truck back from, I believe, 2005, if I'm correct. The only reason I know that is because back on NASCAR 2006 Total Team Control, back when EA owned the rights to the NASCAR games, I remember Mark Martin's truck was in there, and it was the number 6 Scott's truck. for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So obviously that is a beautiful scheme. Unfortunate right now that he currently is actually 3 laps down, unfortunately. So he's not the first truck a lap down. First truck a lap down is actually Shad Kern in that 66 machine. So, Jeremy, right now, a lot of guys are starting to go 1 lap down. Maybe we'll start to see more trucks go a lap down as the run progresses here before we hit the checkered flag.
Yeah, we're just about 6 laps away before we see lap 100. So we're about 50 laps to go in this event here. TJ Bartel starting to pick up the pace a little bit since he has fresh air on his nose. Richie Coy still holding 3rd place. His teammate and the only person really for the Season A championship being Brody Hanna is in 7th. So he still holds a 4-spot advantage over him. So as it sits right now, 19 is perfectly comfortable in place to taking home the trophy for the opening season. Which, refresher, I don't know if you haven't paid attention all season long with us here, how the seasons work is it's A, B, and C, and then the championship 10 races. So you still have the overall season champion from February all the way down to November, but in between they cut the seasons in thirds, A, B, and C, and you get a little individual trophy for that too. So you kind of celebrate mid-season champions and long-term champion. But each and every year, Richie Coy and Brody Hanna always put on the show all season long.
Yeah, those guys have been 2 drivers who have been super, super stout, both in the Martin Sports Truck Series and also the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. They've been doing such a stellar job all season long. I mean, honestly, Jeremy, if I really had to say, the season's practically been between those 2 guys. Obviously, some other drivers sprinkling some wins here and there, but it was so hard to believe that on Monday when you said that Richie Coy only earned his first checkered flag of this season for the Mach 1 for Performance Cup Series. It's only his first win. It's like I saw that number 19 DeWalt Ford Mustang up at the front for Fury Motorsports all season long. Thought he had a couple wins. Turns out he didn't. But here he is right now. He has had such a good season. Multiple wins, if I'm correct, this season for the Martin Sports Truck Series. And he's running 3rd right now. This is just the night he needs. Keep it smooth. Keep it clean. And keep the tires on it. Because if just one thing happens, man, oh man, Brody Hanna is going to have a shot at the title for sure. So Richie Coy is out here not trying to win, not trying to be aggressive. You see him back there behind TJ Bartel. He's battling with Robert Malicki in there, who is 3 seconds behind him. So nobody around him except lap trucks right now. Colton Gum and also Tony Solari. So Richie Coy liking what he's seeing right now. No damage on that truck so far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, to bring back up your 2 points leaders.
He's pitting.
Oh, yep. Here we go. First green flag pit stop. Mr. 19 Richie Coy is going to give up 3rd place to hit the marks here. And actually, we got a couple guys in the pit road. Number 4, Bobby Terrell. That's Richie Coy's teammate. He's getting some 4 fresh good years, or just did. Now we're going to see the 27 of Ryan Chapman. He's going to stop in his stall and get some tires. Also, we're seeing, it looks like Colton Gum coming in. You got the 16 of Robert Malicki, and he's going to come in. You see Justin Diltz pull out a pit road, and you got some more. Lane Allen coming down the 28. Your race leader, Cody McKinney, he's going to come down to the service of his crew. He gets a little slowed up there by the 14, who had a really conservative pit stop, and look how close the 1 of TJ Bartel is to your race leader now.
We're going to have to take a look at the replay and see how TJ Bartel was able to gain so much. I mean, Jeremy, hell, he was 4.5 seconds back between him and Cody McKinney there coming in. I mean, that was a huge gap. And then to narrow it down by just under a second, that's a huge deal. And if the 1 hits his marks here in the pits, he could become the race leader right now. We're going to take a look here at the Nerd TV replay. And also, I just want to say, I called it, man. I said lap 100, and sure enough, they're pitting on lap 100. You see the 1, he gets in just right. I wonder if we could take a look there at the 28 machine. Maybe something happened between him and Lane Allen coming into the pits or not. But for sure, a significant margin lost between the 1 and the 28 that could have been dealt a bad hand there to the 28 coming in. And the 14, you just see him how slow he is coming in. And the 28 had to slow way up right there. So maybe something, I mean, maybe the 1 just caught him that quickly, Jeremy. But odd turn of events here late in the run at Darlington.
Yeah, he just caught the 14 going extra slow into pit road, which that's huge, man. Oh, the 1 getting loose. Don't do that. You made up all that ground in pit road. Don't get yourself in a bad spot here. Trying to get the tire pressure built up into those tires. And right now, looks like the 28 is pulling away because right now the one's in a little bit of a lap truck sandwich here, or not lap truck sandwich because the 19's right behind him. That's Richie Coy all over the back bumper there. So right now as pit cycles through, there's 2 trucks left to pit. That's the 99 and JP Burns has got himself a lap lead. He's coming down pit road this time. And Brody Hanna, the last truck to pit, is also hitting his marks on pit road. So next lap by, the 28, Cody McKinney, will be your race leader once again.
And here's the thing, Jeremy, about pit strategy with tires when it comes down to it here at Darlington compared to most tracks is that everybody likes to say, oh, well, you better be pitting right when whoever the first guy to pit starts pitting because you're just going to lose time on the racetrack once the leaders start pitting. And if you stay out, like, for example, if you're in 5th and then you see Cody McKinney pit, you're going to lose so much time like JP Burns is doing right now. Stayed out, and obviously he's going to lose a lot of ground. But the big thing about that is because of the tire strategy. Now, maybe if JP would have stayed out just a little bit longer, I think it would have played in a bigger hand and would have made my point more valid. But the thing is you could pit early here at Darlington, and then you can make up a lot of time, but then you could pit later, lose a lot of time, but then gain it out on the racetrack just because of how much tire fall off is. Oh, my goodness. The one almost went around there on the front bumper of Richie Coy, the 29 of Tommy Schaefer. I believe he got up into the wall there with that 29 Harvick throwback there. And off turn 4, Bartel almost came right down across the nose of the number 19 Ford F-150. That could have been big for the points leader. And a lot of guys struggling here late in the run. Tommy Schaefer dropping way back, lost about 4 positions there. The 4 of Bobby Terrell, he's up and into the wall. He tried to get around the 2 of Alan Duranko. So much stuff, Jeremy, going on all around this racetrack. I can't even finish my point.
And it looked like the benefactor once again is the 14 of Lane Allen. Remember, he slowed up Cody McKinney on pit road, so that brought TJ Bartel within a second, on that pit road entrance. And then coming off of turn 4 when the number 1 got loose, look who was in front of the 1, the 14. So he kind of gave it to both the race leaders, the 28 and the number 1. So that kind of equaled them out right now. Last time around the line, TJ Bartel 5.3 back from Cody McKinney. So all that ground he gained from the pit road entrance, gone. And then a little extra. He was floating 3.5 to 4.5, and now he's almost 5.5. So TJ Bartel, he's going to have to step up the short run game. He can't lag back as much because we have 41 laps to go in this event. And speaking of which, we're going to give a shout out to one of our sponsors here tonight. This time it's going to go to iRacing iFlag, open sourced race marshalling light board system that has 64 LEDs that gives you a truly noticeable peripheral vision to make it super obvious what's going on around you on the track. So it's basically giving you up to 30 different iRacing notifications. Whether if a car is high, car low, if you have a meatball, if you got the blue flag saying get the hell out of the way, the leader's behind you. Whatever iRacing is going to throw at you, the iRacing iFlag unit has you covered. You're going to pick one of those up at their website, iracingiflag.com, and that promo code you see in green right above that text, Super Nerd, going to save you 15% off anything you do purchase from iRacing iFlag.
And I tell you what, you want to know who really doesn't want to use the iRacing iFlag for a caution reason right now is Cody McKinney, obviously still dominating this race right now, over 5 seconds. The one of TJ Bartel, he's kind of narrowed it down just a little bit. It was about 5.3 seconds. He's cracked down 3/10. That time I ran about a 30 flat compared to McKinney's 30.12 that last time around, so a little over a tenth slower than TJ Bartel was for Cody McKinney, but he's been doing such a great job tonight in that number 28 Coca-Cola Home Depot Tony Stewart throwback from 2001. And sure enough, Smoke is probably putting on the best show right now. He's going to be smoking those tires at the end of this race for sure. Maybe climbing the virtual catch fence here tonight like Tony Smoke Stewart used to do back in the day, and sometimes still does occasionally. Obviously Races XRX has that affiliation with him and Ray Everham. They run that great series in the summertime. Can't wait to see those guys on track again this summer for SRX. Always a great show to watch. If you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. I know I'm promoting the SRX series when I really should be promoting NASCAR, because this is obviously a NASCAR-based service, but still a great time to watch. And obviously Tony Stewart has done such a good job and such a great deal of amount of work in the sport, both the NASCAR and motorsports as a whole across the dirt world, and now obviously NHRA and the top alcohol dragsters and whatnot. But so far, Cody McKinney is showing that he is smoke here tonight. But TJ Bartell and that Johnny Benson machine, and also Richie Coy, might have something to say here late in the run, Jeremy.
My money is having that series on iRacing probably this time in 2024. Their inaugural season was last year, right? So, once they get a couple years underneath their belt, iRacing might go, you know what? This is a serious thing. So that'd be kind of cool. But they host a lot of different things on iRacing, not just NASCAR. It is dominantly NASCAR and where they started, yes. But, I mean, they've expanded so large, so anything can truly be possible on this service. And number 6 there, heavy into the wall right in front of your race leader, Cody McKinney, that being James Torrey. But it keeps it straight, though. But I think that's going to lose a lot more speed on that 6. It's going to bring it right to the nose of the 28 here really quick. If he can, he actually already passed him. Sorry there. He dipped down on the last straightaway and we were let him by. But that gap, though, TJ Bartell's still 5 seconds back. And now we're just shy of 30 laps to go. I think time is lost for TJ unless something happens drastically to that 28.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, TJ Bartell right now, he's struggling just a little bit. But on those longer runs, he kind of was gaining a little bit on Cody McKinney. It's really just been the factor of lap traffic, Jeremy. It's just TJ Bartell cannot catch a break. And it's like when he does catch a break, there's somebody right back in his way. Oh, and also, not to mention the fact, too, Richie Coy is right on his back bumper practically by about 2-3 car lengths right now. So TJ Bartell's got to do a little bit of mirror driving right now, not as much as he was about 10, 12 laps ago when they came out of the pits, when they were in that huge gaggle of lap traffic, and also guys with fresh tires, and also Richie Coy being right there as well. But who knows? We very well could get a caution late in this race. It's happened before throughout iRacing and the real world in NASCAR. And obviously, there's a lot of guys who we're keeping our eye on right now, like Robert Lickian. Quietly worked his way into the top 5 tonight practically until I mentioned it. Now, he's currently just sitting there. He's got a little bit of a gap right now over Alan Duranko, who's 5 seconds back to him. And then Robert is only a second and a half almost behind Bobby Terrell, who's currently in the 4th place position in that number 4 machine. As you see, a battle for position right here. The 2nd place driver in points, Brody Hanna, in that number 23 McDonald's machine, gets around Duranko, entering 1 and 2 there. It's a battle between McDonald's and Haviland, the battle of the red and yellow trucks off the corner, and Hanna was able to secure that spot. Still hoping maybe in Hannah's mind that something happens to his teammate and friend Richie Coy here late in the going, probably just subconsciously.
It's almost identical skins. They both have a yellow, very similar yellow on the bottom half of their truck, and then it's just red on top for one and black on top for the other. They're having a really good battle. I know 2nd and 3rd place, Bartell and Richie Coy are having a really good battle here at this point now. There's a couple other battles on the track too, like 27 to 99. They're separated by only half a second. So 3 different sets of 2-truck battles going around this track, which is kind of unique, and it's kind of hard to keep up with because they're so scattered around this track here. If you look at the track map, as it comes up here on your top left-hand side, presented by iRacing, almost the entire track's covered other than the backstretch currently right now. Turn 3 and turn 4 are going to be open, but there's just a lot of trucks just so spaced around. And this is very casual of Darlington, too. Any type of long race here, if it goes green for a while, it's very typical of this track. So it's not like a Kansas where we're going to have action consistently around the track, but it's such a mentally fatiguing track. It's one of those things where you love it or you hate it, kind of like the Dover we had a couple weeks ago.
And, we talked about it earlier, too. Darlington is a driver's racetrack. It's very abrasive. And you don't drive your truck by the way that truck handles. You see the 11 right there, Tony Solari in the wall, and that Mario Andretti throwback machine. He was able to save it, popped off the wall, got off of it. Good job to him. But this is a driver's racetrack. You don't race your truck. You race the racetrack. And as your truck changes, you change with the conditions as they change as well. So this is obviously, in my opinion, just like most people say, and I'll say it even though I'm just a sim racing driver and commentator, this track by far is probably the hardest track to drive when it comes to the NASCAR side of iRacing, and probably more than likely real life. And our producer Dustin seconds that. I mean, this track, I don't think people understand how hard it is. I mean, between ripping down the front straightaway, not having the opportunities to really pass. As you see, the 2 of Duranko gets loose right there in front of Ryan Chapman, and also the 99 of JP Burns. It is so hard. Like that right there, that was a gifted pass right there. Duranko let them go. You lay off, dive it down a little bit below the white dotted line there, which is practically the apron, come back up, let the truck basically settle back into the middle to upper groove in the center of 1 and 2, diamond it back down to the corner, and just pray to God that you don't slap that wall off the corner, and make sure that you have good enough drive off, and then breaking into 3, and then you're just riding for dear life around 3 and 4. It's like riding on a fine line, off the corner. You're either really good at it or you're not very good. I mean, look at that right there. That was perfect. Perfect mention of my point right there. You saw JP Burns, in order to pass Ryan Chapman, he had to dive it down to the bottom, even though I believe Chapman kind of gave it to him. Chapman nearly slapped the wall. It's like you cannot enter high entering 1 and 2, or else you're going to end up in the wall. So good job by Ryan Chapman right there to keep it out of the outside wall from JP Burns, passing him on the bottom there a lap ago.
Yeah, the track, to further your point there, is actually going to go to the Nerd TV replay and see what this looked like here from the back end side. Just kind of slides up in front of the 27 as 27 is actually trying to come down a little bit, and they almost met up there into the same real estate. So thankfully that did not happen, but that's very typical pass. The track is about just as wide from the wall to the apron as probably Bristol, right? So there's really not much room. You could technically fit 3 trucks, but you're not going to do it while not wrecking, right? There's just not enough room to give, all the space you need to carry all the speed around Darlington. And so to make passes, the corners actually have a sharper entrance than the center of the corner does. So that's why you saw the 99 slide up the track after diving it deep down to the turn 1 below the dotted white line. It's really flat down there. You can do it just to get the corner entry set, but then you have to check up. And so if you don't complete that slide job there, it really just crams up your run, and you lose so much momentum through the corner. Driving this track alone is tough, yes. Passing here, it is so difficult. It is, if you try to run the bottom, you have to have the guy on the top almost guaranteed to make a mistake to make the pass happen. It's such a tricky track to get around here, especially when you have all these good guys. Oh, the 20, one of the trucks heavy into the wall there on the backstretch. Couldn't tell exactly what it was in a moment. It was Alan Duranko on the 2. He's going to lose a couple spots here. Heavy damage to the right side. He's the last truck on the lead lap.
Yeah, and everybody right now, grip is starting to go away here, Jeremy, with just under almost 20 laps to go. Handling is becoming a big thing. TJ Bartell was closing a little bit on Cody McKinney, caught some lap trucks. Now he's up into the 31-second bracket along with McKinney and other drivers as well. And now that gap went from about 5 seconds to 5.3 down to 5. Now it's back all the way to 6.3 right now. TJ Bartell can just not catch a break right now. I mean, right now he's got clean air from what it looks like. He does currently. He's got some clean air, so maybe he could try it. Actually, he's got a ton of clean air right here, so he could try to make up a bit of a gap. And I actually believe the next truck on the racetrack in front of him is actually Cody McKinney. So currently, no trucks in between Bartell and McKinney right now. So if TJ Bartell's going to try to run him down, this is the time to do so. McKinney only faster than Bartell by 0.03 of a second that last time around. We're obviously under 20 laps to go right now with 19 going up on the scoring pylon. TJ Bartell, more than likely, Jeremy, gonna need a caution, but who knows? McKinney could very well catch lap traffic in the wrong place at the wrong time, or his tires could go away, but McKinney's been doing such a good job all night at saving those tires.
Pretty crazy battle that just, I think, finally ended between the 27 of Ryan Chapman is around a couple of trucks that are 2 laps down trying to battle for their own position, and we almost had a wreck there as you were talking toward the end of that where the TJ needs a caution, and they almost got it there, but it looks like temporarily they're okay, but the 88 Colton Gunn this time getting loose on the bottom. Every lap, it's either the 27 or someone around him that's getting sideways off corner exit. Corner entry looks fine. The center of the corner looks fine. It's just corner exit's really been the struggle point for a lot of these teams here tonight. as they're going to come off turn 2 on the nose here, the 28 of Cody McKinney, as your race leader is trying to go around probably the most active group of trucks on this track right now. Cleanly goes around 1. He's got 2 or 3 more in front of him to pass. 27's been having a handful, this time relatively clean off of 4. But this is going to be a little pucker moment here for the 28 to get around these guys cleanly.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, that could open up the door for TJ Bartel. I mean, he's already gained about 0.2 of a second that last time around. Bartel was faster than McKinney just because of the lap trucks by about almost 0.5 of a second. That was half a second gain by TJ Bartel last time around. Actually, he's already cracked below the 6-second bracket right now. He is back now by 5.5 seconds. So this is just what Bartel needs to see in his front windshield. What he really doesn't need to see is those lap trucks start getting aggressive in front of him, and then he's going to have to deal with them in a worse way than what McKinney did. And also, you talk about, too, all over the racetrack, drivers are really all over, and that was the most active group of trucks. I wonder real quick if we can get the track map. There we go. Dustin knows me. He knows me like the back of his hand. He knows what I want before I even say it. And you can just see right now, Jeremy, and for the folks at home watching, everybody is all over this racetrack. You're seeing a group of trucks in one place. You're seeing one guy straggling on the backstretch. You're seeing another group of trucks in 1 and 2. You're seeing another group of trucks down the backstretch, another group, etc. They're all over the place right now. So anything can happen right now at any moment, any time, anywhere on this racetrack right now with just 14 laps to go. Handling, forget about it. It's out the window right now. It is time to go right now. You have what you have, and if you don't, you better just hold on for dear life, because you're going to have to deal with 14 or 13 and a half coming to 13 to go, agonizing more laps here at the Lady in Black. And she is a tough one. This is practically like taking out somebody on a first date here, and your first date doesn't go very well. But for Cody McKinney, his date with the Lady in Black is going very, very well here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of the guys seem to have forgotten their wallet there for their first date. That's how bad of a night a lot of these trucks have had so far here. Almost every single one is beat up unless you're the number 28. And still with that track map up there, first place is in probably, let's get a more accurate count here. First place, Cody McKinney, going through turn 1 and 2 now. 4th place or 5th place, Bobby Terrell. He's probably in turn 4 right now. So not even, he's in the top 5, but he's a half a track or more behind your race leader. So even though it's all over the place, there's a lot of trucks that are lapped down. 8th place on back. So right now, currently 8th through 17th. So 10 trucks a lap down. There's more trucks off the lead lap. So there's just a bunch of everything around the track. They're not all for position. They're just so separated. Such a daunting track to even try to attempt to race on a long run. And these guys are feeling it. There's just so many trucks out of control right now. So much tire wear that's gone. They're running 2.5 seconds back. You see the battle here. You can just see it. Cody McKinney being the guy there to be the judge around. 2 trucks behind him is 3 seconds back. 3 or 4 trucks in front of him is 5 seconds in front. It just shows you the gaps there too as well by the numbers.
Yeah, and you know, and I mean, everybody right now we just talked about is all over the racetrack right now, you know, and I mean, and Cody McKinney, he's just trying to get home right now. He's pulled it back out to almost about a 6-second gap over TJ Bartel. Bartel is just screaming right now for a yellow flag right now, but he's been doing such a great job here tonight by keeping that lead and keeping all 4 tires on the truck and also not having any damage on that racetrack from by the looks of it.
Curious how the top 2 both don't have damage, right?
I don't believe so.
Top 2, I mean, keep your truck clean, and the truck and the track rewards you at the end of the day. If you have damage, you're probably not in the top 5. So, as Dustin's got the drone camera back out for us, take a look, and yeah, that right side looks basically pristine, minus the bugs and rubber that's built up around the nose of that Toyota Tundra going down the side there. I don't see a single scratch there, Jason.
Yeah, I don't see a single scratch there either. He's been doing such a great job. But, hey, man, you know, I'm starting to feel maybe, just maybe, we might get a caution. I mean, we've been talking about this race being too tame. Stuff's happening. And this is the track, obviously, that's being, you know, too tough to tame. But right now, it's been pretty tame here this entire race. No cautions besides our stage caution. So this could practically go all the way to the end without a natural caution here. But the opportunity is always opened here with 7 laps to go. You very well could see a caution here late in this race. Obviously, not many drivers on the lead lap, but still some drivers just struggling severely here with the lack of grip and also because of their setups here late in this run.
I think they're gonna have to rephrase that coin term. They're too tough to tame. If you're FTSR, they have learned how to tame her. I think last year was pretty uneventful in comparison to what you see in the real life as well. So FTSR has the secret recipe for Darlington. It looks like at least for 2 years in a row. As Cody McKinney is hoping that what you just said does not happen. He wants to bring this home, just get it done with. He's running a lot of laps solo around this place, so mentally just tiring. He's just like, get this thing over with. I've earned my victory already. I just need to see the checker flags, and that's going to happen in about 6 laps here.
Yeah, and he's been doing such a great job here tonight. I mean, almost 7/10 or a 7-second gap right now over TJ Bartel. Cody McKinney has been on rails tonight ever since he took the lead away from Michael Blackner, who's sitting in the 10th place position, 1 lap down. Blackner hit the wall in 3 and 4, lost it almost. McKinney was able to go by, and also a handful of other drivers were as well. But ever since then, Cody McKinney hasn't really had a threat for the lead, except when TJ Bartel closed more than 4.5 seconds coming down to the entrance of pit road when McKinney got trapped behind the 14 of Lane Allen coming into the pits, and Bartel was able to close it in to about almost a second gap between them on pit road. And at one point, down pit road lane, they were about 3, 4, maybe 5 car lengths, possibly 6 at most, stretching it. They were separated by about that much. That was about the closest anybody's been to Cody McKinney all night under green flag conditions, besides caution laps, obviously. But Cody McKinney, great job here tonight in that Tony Stewart throwback, coming to 3 laps to go. This looks to be his race to win. And none to say the less, a Toyota, which there really isn't a lot of Toyotas over here in the FTSR that I've noticed. Mainly all Fords and primarily some Chevys mixed in here and there. So not a lot of Toyotas, so it's good to see the Toyota TRD Tundra getting some recognition here tonight, because it's been very, very stout for that 28 machine.
A lot more diverse than what it was even last year at FTSR, where Brian Bliss, I think, was the only Toyota in both the Cup Series and the Truck Series. So a lot more mix-up in manufacturers this time around. 2 laps to go this time for Cody McKinney. He's got basically a 7-second advantage still over TJ Bartel. Clean air in front of him the rest of the way. And I got to mention, Richie Coy still running in 3rd place. This man has got the championship all but locked up here. He's got no one around him other than maybe, was that about 15, 20 truck lengths in front? That'd be Alan Duranco. Outside of that, clean air. White flag is in the air. Cody McKinney, he's got one more time to do this. Next flag will settle this race. And he is super happy to see that flag, knowing he's just got 2 more corners left after corner exit here. 28 is going to pick up his 2nd victory of the season. One of 3 drivers to do so in the 2023 A season. And Richie Coy is going to also pick up his, I don't know how many times he's got the section champion there of the trophy, but right now Cody McKinney off of turn 4 gets his Martin Sports winning moment. And I think the winning moment belongs to the truck of keeping that thing absolutely pristine condition. Not a single scratch on that truck, on that throwback machine for Tony Stewart. Job well done, Cody McKinney. Congrats to Cody on the win. Congrats to Richie Coy on the Season A championship, as we got 2 burnouts coming your way.
Yeah, what a great, fantastic race for these guys here tonight, especially Richie Coy driving the number 19 Super Chips throwback for Carl Edwards. Absolutely beautiful scheme, and what a job by Cody McKinney. Practically put a whooping on the field here tonight from the virtual Darlington Raceway. And you can see Richie Coy, he's probably pretty happy to just come home with a clean truck, and he's going to let Cody McKinney do his burnouts, and Richie Coy is going to follow in tow right behind him as he works his way down the front straight. But Cody McKinney just slaps the inside wall. There's the damage he needed all night long, right there to the inside wall. Great job, though, by McKinney, and congratulations to Richie Coy on his title for Season A.
We don't see Richie do burnouts, because when he wins, he does the Polish lap. But I guess when you don't win the race, you burn him down. And right now he's just doing a nice classic circular burnouts here. Maybe doing the wall burnout here as he bunches up. And yeah, the 28, I don't know why you caused damage on that thing. It was looking so good. And you just wipe off the dirt and rubber and you're good to go. You can keep that truck for the next time. But nope, had to hit the wall there and get some damage. But and he's going to go backwards on the track now too. Super excited to get this victory here. But this is our time to go over the unofficial results here for these 24 trucks here at the Darlington 200 as they continue to just burn them down here. Cody McKinney obviously brings it on P1. P2 is going to belong to TJ Bartel. Third place, Richie Coy. Fourth place, Robert Malikian. Fifth place is going to be Brody Hanna. Sixth place, Bobby Terrell. Seventh place, JP Burns. Eighth place, Ryan Chapman. Ninth, Alan Duranko. And tonight's 10th place truck, Michael Blackner.
11th goes to the number 11, how fitting, of Tony Solari. 12th, Stephen Allen in the 12th place spot. 13th, Justin Diltz. 14th, Tommy Schaefer. 15th, Colton Gum. 16th goes to the Mark Martin throwback of James Torrey. 17th, Chad Curran. Tyler Brown, 18th. Joey McKinney, 19th. And Sherwood Williford in his always throwback paint scheme every single week comes home in the 20th position.
21st, Brian Bliss. 22nd, Stephen Hollingsworth. 23rd, Steve Angie. And Maxwell Solsch rounds out tonight's 24 truck field. We're going to bring it to full page commercial break here. Gather up our top three, including the champion, Richie Coy. And we'll be back with you guys after those few messages. And welcome to the Martin Sports post-race show, where we're going to bring in our top three, including the champion for this season, and get their final takes here on Darlington. A very uneventful race here tonight. So I'm sure these guys are just happy to get this thing done and over with. First, we're going to bring in the number one here of TJ Bartel, who does finish in second place. TJ, do you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Man, that truck was really fast on the long run, but when you guys came down pit road with close to lap 100, I was like, he's got to step up that short run speed. And it did have it sometimes look like you had something, but do you think you had anything for Cody, or do you think the lap traffic kind of got in the way a little bit there?
Honest answer, no. The first run before the pit stop, I kind of caught him a little bit, and I was kind of encouraged that maybe, I could do that again. But I didn't get off pit road as good as he got way faster off pit road. My exit was terrible, and then racing Richie and catching lap cars in the wrong spots didn't help me. But he was just way faster. He had a really great truck.
Yeah, definitely did. And but you had a really good truck too. I mean, you finished 6 seconds ahead of third place even. So if it wasn't for Cody, you'd have been the class of the field there. Yeah, just congratulations over on second place. And what was your inspiration of running the number or the Johnny Benson throwback there?
Well, I always liked Johnny Benson when he ran the trucks. He was one of my favorite drivers then. And my very first season at FTSR back in 2007, I ran this paint scheme and won the very first championship. So it was kind of like a double throwback for me.
Okay, yeah, that would definitely explain why you ran that skin then. Well, it turned out great. It looks very identical to the actual thing, so great job replicating it, whether if it was you or your painter or whatnot. But congratulations on second place once again, man. Floor is yours. Who would you like to thank before we let you go for this season closeout?
Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. I want to thank Martin Sports for sponsoring the league or the series. I want to thank Nerditudes for all you guys do. Always love going back and watching the broadcast. Do a good job, and just thank the league, Brody, all the admins. I know they do a lot of work that a lot of people don't see and know it's a Herculean task. And I'm just happy for what they do. They give us a great place to race. Some really great drivers here. So thanks to them for all the room tonight and throughout the season. And looking forward to what we can do next season.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And yeah, FTSR does a great job with this league, and take it a little easy on us, man. It's okay. But yeah, congratulations, man, once again. And we will see you at Charlotte here in 2 weeks to tackle 2023 Season B.
You bet, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. And that was your second place finisher. And now we're going to bring in your race winner, the first of two Victory Lane scenes. We're going to bring you from the number 28 of Cody McKinney. How's it going?
It's going good.
Hey, yeah, that very uneventful Darlington race. You did not hit the wall at all until after you decided to do your burnouts and then nose the inside wall there. But just huge congratulations to you and your team. I know Joseph didn't have so much luck like you did. That truck was on absolute rails from the drop of any flag. It was just the short run speed was there, the mid run speed was there, and the long run speed was definitely there. How much time and preparation did you put in that truck to get this thing to where it was tonight?
Honestly, only Monday and yesterday. Couple hours here and there, both days. As Darlington is just one of those tracks that it's it's in my wheelhouse. I love the track. I love how it's a driver's track. You can't go and try and race everybody else. You gotta race the track, and that's what we had to do.
It's a very Denny Hamlin style or Tony Stewart style summertime where the tracks are a little more tougher at points, and it seems to definitely play in your wheelhouse there. Um, I'm going to comment on your guys' throwback skins, you and Joseph there. What was your guys' choice or deciding factor to bring out those skins? Because those turned out really nice.
We've been wanting to we've been wanting to run those past couple years now. Just couldn't find the polar bears that we needed. Every other image that we found of them were just either too blurry, too small. Couldn't find the right size, right clarity. So last week I dug pretty deep to was able to find them and finally was able to get it done.
I'm sure you dug deep to find those. Yeah, we were actually talking about that during the pre-race and during our commercial breaks and whatnot, of how to just be able to find those images of those decals are what 25 years old now plus maybe. So to find those alone is something awesome. But you found them in such a good enough quality that they look great on the truck. So shout out to those and just you got 2 wins now this season to close out 2023A. You're the third multi-winner of 2023A. Coming into next season in 2 weeks, how many wins do you think you have for that team coming into the second season?
Bias answer, I would like to say all 13,
Okay,
but re-
tall task.
realistically, I'll hard to even say just because the competition is, I mean, it's stout competition, and if one mistake can cost you a race, it happened to me firsthand a couple times already. But yeah, it's hard to say. If I had to choose one out of this season, it would be
Okay. Yeah, 10-4 on that. And yeah, just coming in with the mindset of having all 13 races yours, that's good enough alone, man. As long as you're coming and think you're going to finish first, that really helps out any driver really coming up with a positive mindset. But we're going to let you go, man. Congratulations once again on the victory. Floor is yours. Who would you like to thank before we let you go tonight?
appreciate y'all for excellent broadcasts all these weeks. Look look forward to keep it going. Rest of FTSR for having us and the field. It's been fun. Hope we can keep up the momentum and
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. Yeah, congratulations once again, and good luck in the next season. I think you'll be doing a little bit better than what you did this season. Just get feel those oddball races out of the way, and I think you'll be up there. But we'll let you go. Have a good night, man.
appreciate y'all too.
Yes, sir. And that was your race winner, Cody McKinney. I know he was the second driver we interviewed because, well, Richie Coy won the championship, did finish third, so we're going to bring him in last for the second Martin Sports victory lane scene. Richie Coy, congratulations on the 2023 A championship.
What's up, nerds? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It looks like Furrier Motorsports did not have the speed as we usually see each and every week. You're able to bring it home in third place, and it looked like Bobby Terrell at points had a really good truck as well. He finished in sixth place, and Brody Hanna always finds himself to come through late. He got a top five. So overall, the team did great, but off the start, didn't look like the speed was there. Did you guys do a lot of work on those trucks during that stage break to get them where they need to be?
Well, don't forget Tony. I think he finished 10th. But
Yes, he did finish 11th. So
sucker.
close.
All right, so close. No, actually, Bobby was good. I think he got second at the stage, or third, second or third at the stage, and I think he hit the wall at one point after the stage, which kind of killed his race. But no, I was just trying to get to the stage break without having any major issues. The stage racing this year, with 10 points up for grabs, and only had a 19-point lead. It was very important for me to get to the stage and get points and not lose anything to Brody. So I think I picked up like 3 or 4 tenths just with the stage being over.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at the stage results, and at the stage one, how you had a large gap on Brody. I was like, you know what? I think he might do well as long as he keeps that truck clean. And there's a couple of times where you got around some people that got a little questionable, but outside of that, like there was so much space between each truck on average that kind of just sets you up to just run your own race and lock in that championship. So you did that. You did that very well. And you said you had a surprise for us this week with the Carl Edwards skin. And you went old. You went deep into his arsenal there for this first truck skin. That turned out pretty clean, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's his 2006. That's his first ride that he had with Roush's truck. It was number 99. It had red numbers, but I wanted to keep it with my number, his scheme, my number. But yeah, that was his first one in 2006. So I liked it. It was very simple, kind of white, kind of old school. So that's what I went with, and then we'll see what happens on Monday.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, looking forward to that skin as well. But this is your, I think it's your third win, or well, 2 wins of the season, rather. But the floor is yours once again. Who would you like to thank before we let you go this season?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Fury Motorsports, Brody, for having me on his team. For the guys, it's Tony, Brody, myself, Bobby with the truck, and then Michael's kind of our satellite truck, Michael Blackner. So I appreciate all those guys. It's a total team effort. I mean, we got 1-2 in the championship with me and Brody. It's bittersweet for Brody because, obviously he didn't win the championship tonight, but his truck did. So it's great for Fury Motorsports. And again, I can't thank them enough. It's, like I said, total team effort. We work each and every week trying to put the best trucks under us as we possibly can. I already got a message from Tony's mom. So thank you to Tony's parents for watching and sticking with us all season long. Got to give a shout out to everybody in the league. Tonight was a fantastic race. I did not expect to go basically the entire race green checkered. That was green flag. That was crazy. So thanks to everybody in the league. Thanks to everybody who supported the league during the season. Hopefully they come back for 2022, 2023B, which starts in 2 weeks. And thank you, fantastic. Thank you to Martin Sports for not only being on board for the 2023A season, but also being on board for 2023B for the Darlington Throwback contest that they've had, and the Nerditudes 200, where you guys put up some stuff too. We thank you for that. So thank you again to everybody. It was just a great season overall. And lastly, thanks to Nerds, man. You guys do a great job in the booth.
Appreciate all those kind words there, and hope for continued success for the remainder of the year. Your team alone, I think, was 7 wins out of the 13 races. So you took over 50% of the wins throughout the team there. So just hopefully that continues success for you guys, and or good luck on the rest of the way.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're welcome. And that was the 19 Richie Coy locking up Season A championship here for the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series. And time to recap this thing. We got some final thoughts, and then also we got to announce the paint scheme winner. It is up to us here with myself, Dustin, and Jason, as they're back on camera here. Jason, Dustin, I think we kind of made a decision there on our halfway point. What do we think?
Yeah, I mean, we did technical difficulties. Hey, it happens. We're all human. I make mistakes too, and some of it was keyed up, but we had a lot of discussions on the paint schemes. A lot of beautiful paint schemes out here. A lot of really, I mean, you could tell a lot of drivers put a lot of thought, a lot of heart into it. The biggest thing for us was authenticity. How accurate they got with putting their sponsors with, the throwback style. It came down to a number of trucks that were there coming up in no particular order, but it was down to 3 trucks, being the 27 of Chapman, the 18 of Joseph McKinney, and the 11 was a big one of Tony Solari, that throwback to Mario Andretti. Those were the ones that were kind of getting thrown in there quite a bit. Again, Tony Solari had an excellent paint scheme, as did Joseph McKinney, especially seeing as how hard it was, but just for sheer accuracy with everything, numbers matching up, the right font, I mean, just everything just kind of played in. Our choice was going to the Ryan Chapman, the number 27, throwback to Rusty Wallace's championship Kodiak number 27. So it was definitely a beautiful paint scheme, but excellent job by everybody. Everybody did a fantastic job on their schemes.
What's your thoughts on the skins, Jason?
Hold on. I think. Oh, never mind. All right. I got my mic going. Yeah, man. I mean, seriously, these guys came out in full force with all the throwbacks. I love Bartel's Johnny Benson scheme. I love the McKinney's Joe Gibbs Racing Coca-Cola, Labonte and Stewart throwbacks. We just talked about it. We love Ryan Chapman's Kodiak car back to Rusty Wallace's championship back in that number 27 machine. Ultimately, I believe that's also the same paint scheme that he dumped Darrell Waltrip for the Winston Million, or not the Winston Million, whatever it was called back then, for the All-Star race at Charlotte years ago. There was a lot of great ski mans, and I really, really loved. And if Tony's watching, or any of his family members, Tony Solari, in my opinion, was probably almost as good as that 27 machine. But at the end of the day, man, accuracy, we talked about it. Accuracy, story, looks. That's my big 3 things when it comes to the throwbacks. And I mean, I'm sure there's a story behind why he chose that 27 machine, the paint scheme that they ran, and what a night too. I mean, caution free for natural cautions. That doesn't happen here, man. That just doesn't happen here.
No.
So these guys really did a great job all night long. And for you guys bringing me on for the first time for the, basically the 3 quarters of season A for the Martin Sports Truck Series, and also, for the, oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart right now, the Mark I Performance Cup Series as well. I can't wait to wrap that up as well next week. This has been a blast calling Season A. I can't wait to start Season B. I can't wait to continue to call the FTSR, hopefully. And for sure, though, this has been one of my favorite series to call between Martin Sports and the Mach 1 series. These FTSR guys are the real friggin' deal. So I've had a blast calling these guys for Season A. So congratulations to Richie Coy. Congratulations to Ryan Chapman for the Paint Scheme Award. And also congratulations, obviously, to Cody McKinney for winning in that beautiful Tony Stewart Coca-Cola Home Depot throwback.
Yeah, 100% there. And my favorite driver is Rusty Wallace. So I had a bias from the very get-go. 27, I think, ultimately was my favorite pick out of that. No brainer for me. The numbers were spot on. The way you put the current sponsors within how it looks wrapped up in the old school logo, it just fit very well. So that's a very deserving choice there for the 27. Ryan Chapman, congratulations on the winner of the Throwback Scheme Award. But we're going to close this thing out.
So-
Thanking our sponsor. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Hold on. Because it just dawned
one
on
more?
me. So we want to talk about, we always try to shout out the league itself. I mean, just to put it in perspective, Jason said it best, wrapping everything up, to tell you the level of skill that these drivers bring. Just so you guys are fully aware that like two of the toughest tracks on the circuit that you would expect cautions and wrecks, being Talladega and Darlington, these drivers went caution free in both.
That is true.
So
Yeah.
I mean that tells you the level of competition and skill that these guys bring. But before Jeremy closes it out, I want to capitalize on what Jason said as well. Congratulations to all the series winners this season. Obviously, Fury Motorsports taking 7 of the 13. But for everybody else as well, congratulations to them. The well-earned victories. Great job by everybody that ran. Congratulations to Chapman, who, believe it or not, has both won the Nerditudes 200 Hard Luck Award, got the gloves, and chose the right paint scheme. So he's also going to get a custom Martin Sports t-shirt with that scheme on it. That's part of the prize from Martin Sports. So he's definitely may not be the winner in victory lane, but he's definitely winning the contest quite a bit there. So good job to him. Great job to Richie Coy for winning the championship. So look forward to 2023B.
Yeah, so if you guys want to really just be a part of that racing, like Dustin just said, and Jason as well, no cautions on one of the toughest tracks. That means you got a really good set of guys to race with. So we're going into a 1 week off season. This is a great time to get registered with FTSR at FTSR.net. They have the Sim Racing Point software built into it. Have one of a kind charter system. So you just purchase a small, or if like $5 to get yourself a car onto your team, and you sign a contract with the driver virtually. It's for fun. It's just a couple dollars here. Makes things interesting, not just your standard league setup. So if you're interested in getting involved here for the second part of the 2023 year, come on board FTSR.net. Mach 1 Performance, the Cup Series sponsor every Monday. It's a race fabrication shop that produces champions and of all sorts of racing divisions. You're going to find them at facebook.com/Mach1 Performance. I just mentioned too with the FTSR site, the simracingpoints.com, guys. It's an all-inclusive league points management system that does everything for your league, makes it look professional, displaying all the stats that they have to offer for each and every single race, and that's at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, we shout them out a lot. They're one of our top premier partners here at Nerditudes, and now here at FTSR for the Truck Series. Top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See their whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get all of your racing notifications a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving the focus from your screen. And you're going to find their stuff at iracingiflag.com. Butt Kicker, the ultimate race field from your haptic system that attaches to any sim racing chair. One-of-a-kind product to really bring in all the bumps and feels to get you performing at your peak performance. And you're going to go to thebuttkicker.com to see all their products that they offer. Team Watson Racing Setups. Quality, professionally built setups for all your asphalt oval needs. You'll find them at teamwatsonracing.com. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee. Start your day the right way with Roasted Gems at roastedgems.com. Go there to grab yourself a taste. That's it, guys. We're going to find you on Monday here for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. They're going to close out their year at Darlington as well with another contest for the throwback skin, so be on the lookout for that. Until then, you guys stay safe. And Dustin, actually, you know what? He gave out the spoiler, and Jason did too, the 3 keys they're looking for. So if you need to make final tune adjustments, I guess take their hints if you want to win that competition on Monday. So it's up to you guys now, but stay safe. Get your nerd on.